Hi, everybody. It's Patricia Coughlin, and I'm following up on the last video. We're really talking about how to help patients get in deep visceral touch with their feelings and impulses, and how to use what Davenlu called the portrait, or use imagination and visual imagery to facilitate the full experience and safe expression of feelings. If we go back to the central dynamic sequence, always starting with inquiry, getting specificity, a recent example, and then beginning to explore the feelings and emotions that were triggered in the symptom generating situation, we're going to typically find that the patient will go to defenses as opposed to directly to their feelings. So then we move into that second phase of defense work. And let's face it, none of us really like to have our defenses messed around with. So very often we will start to see the patient feeling some anger, right? They might be grateful on the one hand that you're pointing this stuff out to them, but at the same time getting angry about being challenged. And so we want to help the patient actually connect with and fully experience this feeling of anger in the body, which is experienced as heat and energy, typically emanating from the center, coming up and out, through arms, hands, shoulders, jaw. And as soon as we see the mobilization of impulse in the body, this is what you're waiting for. You press for the visceral experience until you see, like, the person starts clenching their jaw and biting their lip, or their hands are doing something like this, or their leg starts going in a kicking motion, right? You're actually getting evidence from the body that the impulses associated with the anger are actually getting mobilized. And that is your cue, right, that it's time to go to this visualization process, right? So as you experience that anger, right, I see your jaw clenching, your fists, right? Let's see what your body wants to do with that anger here toward me, right? So again, if this is a case where they're getting angry with you for pointing out their defenses, and this is creating a safe space for these anxiety-provoking, previously forbidden feelings and impulses to actually be expressed, right, where nobody's getting hurt. And it's typically these impulses that the patient is most hesitant to experience and express. And they will often say, oh, I'm not a violent person, I would never hit anybody. And I might say, well, it's great to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that you don't actually put your anger out on others, but we see you have been putting it back on yourself, right, with headaches, depression, and so on, right? When we can see that your body is mobilized. So can we have a look, right, at what your body would want to do in your imagination, in your fantasy, right? If you lost control, how would that impulse come out here toward me, right? And these impulses are never random. They are always very significant and frequently link both to patients presenting complaints. So for example, people who have headaches, it's almost inevitable that their impulse is actually to smash you in the head. And so being able to see that connection, oh my gosh, right? I've been protecting, right, the other person, and actually putting this beating back on myself, right? Or they can also have this link between, like a recent example where a patient was experiencing anger toward me with an impulse to just punch me in the mouth and the face and the eyes. And then he saw that I was black and blue. And in that moment, it shifted to his mother's face that had gotten black because she had died of liver disease. So this is going to be the pathway. It's really the impulses that will unlock the unconscious, and there'll be a link between you and an important person from the past. You now have the de-repression of memories so that that past situation is present where it can be reworked. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Again, you're going to wait until you actually see impulses mobilized in the body. That's your cue that they're just below awareness. You bring it to awareness. Do you see your fist? Do you feel your foot wanting to kick? Again, how would these impulses come out in your fantasy? And then you're going to follow the fantasy. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to facilitate the layering of feelings. It's very rare that you just want to help the person experience one isolated feeling, like anger. You know, when the person feels the anger and the rage and imagines putting it out on you, once that anger is expressed, there are going to be other feelings coming up. Sadness, guilt, love, the desire for repair. So you want to make sure that you're facilitating this complex, multi-layered experience of very mixed feelings. Okay, so we will get to that in the next video. Make sure to leave comments and questions, and we will continue our conversation. Thanks. Bye-bye.